Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is, what is it today? Thursday, November 13th, 2025. And just a short walk today because I've got to get a lot done today because we're heading off tomorrow. So off for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure whether I'll do a video tomorrow. So if it doesn't come out, that's why. We're leaving at about lunchtime, so we'll see how we go. But just as I said, getting organised today. So I still haven't decided whether I'll do daily updates. We'll see how we go. But just a quick sort of getaway with the family, which you have to do, of course. So let's get on this day. And I think I covered one of the fights the other day. Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, back in 1992, the first fight. I've got it, the details here. I'll just quickly go over this. So yeah, it was the first fight of the trilogy, November 13, 1992, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the WBA, WBC, IBF heavyweight titles. So the purses, Holyfield 5 million, Bowe 3 million, Holyfield 28-0, 22 knockouts, Bowe 31-0, 27 knockouts. So this was the fight. I've got here. Oh, sorry, no. Bowe won the unanimous. Of course he did. Holyfield won the second fight. So apologies about that. So Bowe won the unanimous decision in this fight. 117, 110 times 2, 115, 112. So the next fight, of course, Holyfield would avenge this loss and then would lose the rematch or the third fight in the series. So that's what happened on this day in 1992. In 2000, I'll go back one more. This is probably a tragic one. This happened in 1982. Come here, buddy. We'll go this way. Stay across this side of the road. There's another. Come here, man. There's a lady over there and a dog. Come over this way. This way, ma'am. Morning. How you doing? Yeah, all good. Come here, buddy. Come here, man. This way, buddy. This way. 1982, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Ray Mancini, Duke Koo Kim, the tragic fight that took place there. Ray Mancini, boom, knocked out Duke Koo Kim in the 14th round in a brutal fight outside in searing heat, and would be the catalyst for the WBC lessening the rounds in the fight. So from 15 rounds to 12 rounds. And 5 years later, the WBA and IBF would follow suit. But just a real tragic set of circumstances. Duke Koo Kim was a WBA #1 challenger. Came to America to fight Boom Boom and gave his all. He probably wasn't supposed to do as well as he did, but gave as good as he's got for most of the fight, but just the brutal style of Boom Boom Mancini wore him down, knocked him out in the 14th round, and he unfortunately collapsed, went into a coma after the fight, and died after that, and had some really tragic consequences after that. The referee who actually refereed the fight and stopped the fight, he actually committed suicide a few months later. I don't know, well, most people don't know whether it was in regards to this, who knows, but either way, very, very tragic. And also Duke Koo Kim's mum actually committed suicide as well because of this. So three tragic things happening there, but the one good thing I suppose to come out of it was the WBC lessening the rounds from 15 to 12. Doctors and scientists, or whatever you might want to talk about, thought that it was those last 3 rounds where most of the damage was done. Yeah, they might be right. I mean, there still has been deaths, well, many deaths since that fight. So I don't necessarily agree it's just for those extra 3 rounds. I think the fact that obviously the amount of punishment he took in that particular fight, but also being outside in the heat, I think that probably had a lot to do with it as well. And I think safety measures sort of in place. There probably should be things, and I'm not sure whether there is actually a provision in place now where if it's outside or even inside and the heat is at a certain level, they won't let fighters fight. Especially with the dehydration and all that sort of stuff with the guys making weight. So, and we almost had a similar instance when Barry McGuigan fought Stevie Cruz. He fought there, of course, outside at Caesars Palace as well. and he lasted the 15 rounds, but took all sorts of punishment, was in a really, really bad way afterwards. So you don't sort of see it too much anymore, actually, the outside fights. Even the Allegiant Stadium fight had a roof on it at the time. So actually, does that even open? I'm not sure it does. But either way, those outside fights seem to have sort of been cast to the side. But yeah, just a very, very tragic event for boxing back in the day. There's been documentaries and all that about it as well. So if you haven't seen it, check that out. And then the other one, 2010, Manny Pacquiao with let's just say a whooping of Antonio Margarita. Just a real beat down. If you remember the fight, Manny Pacquiao, probably that was really the 2009, 2010, I think was really when he was at his peak. I mean, he was just overwhelming guys, Margarito and Cotto and Hatton, De La Hoya, just to name a few. He was just in awesome form and really did a job on Antonio Margarito, broke his or fractured his orbital bone. I think they said he had permanent damage from that eye after that fight. So a lot of people say Margarito got what he deserved after the Miguel Cotto fiasco, but Manny Pacquiao just on absolute fire in that fight. The fight took place in Dallas, Texas at the Cowboy Stadium. Been there, and it's just an unbelievable stadium. So he retained the world welterweight title in that. No, it wasn't the welterweight title. I think it was for the vacant WBC 154-pound title from memory, I think it was. But either way, just a one-sided beatdown, and Manny Pacquiao inflicting the beating on Margarito that a lot of people thought he deserved. So again, that's what happened on this day in 2010. I think was it before that too. He fought Clotty as well. Not as impressive because Clotty just refused to fight, but that was the other fight he had in Texas as well. All right, now on to what I said yesterday about the press conference with Nikita Tszyu and Michael Zerafa. Now, a lot of people had to say, which is great. Most people, or nearly everyone, agreed with what I had to say. There were a few that disagreed, and that's fine. Everyone has their own opinions on everything. But the weird press conference, or let's just say the odd press conference, just got odder or weirder, because yesterday, the day after the official press conference where it was held to announce the fights and what was happening, and didn't really deliver really anything, the day after, all the fights dropped. So I am still at a loss to think what was happening there. I'll go through the fights on the card. Again, odd, because I had the official press conference and didn't really announce anything. They had Liam Wilson up there. They had Billy Polkinghorn up there, neither one of them with an opponent. Liam Paro, Paddy Donovan was pretty much 80 to 90% done, but not official still. The only fights that were really official were the main event, and also Dempsey McKean and Moses Otama. Not Moses Otama, geez. We don't want to give Dempsey PST about that one, but no, about, what was his name, Tszyu versus Atu. All right, so the official card that was announced the day after the official press conference to announce these fights have been confirmed. So it will be Liam Paro, Paddy Donovan as the main support. We've got Dempsey McKean, Tszyu Vasuatu, as I said, Liam Wilson, Rodex Piala. And I had a bit of a look at Piala. He's 12-1 and should be a real good sort of tune-up while in between fight for Liam. I think just a fight to keep him in the mix as he waits for that world title shot. So a good move there. He's been active and it's good solid fighters just to keep him keep the other motors burning. All right, the other fight, Jacob NG Isaiah Seti. That'll actually be a pretty good fight. Entertaining. You'd think NG will win that fight, but Seti is a very, very talented young guy. That'll be a good fight. Max Reeves, Nathan Silva. I'm not sure how the relevance of Max Reeves being on the card. He is a wildfighter fighter. So I don't know what's happened there. They've obviously maybe given him permission or whatever it might have been to be on that card. Then we've got Jack Javed Zefi Vahutua. I don't know anything about him. He's having his debut, or both those guys having their debut. So no mention of Billy Polkinghorn on there. I'm sure he'll be on the card. I think it said there were 4 other fights to be announced, and that's great. But I just don't know the relevance again of having Billy Polkinghorne at the press conference if you haven't even got him a fight yet. I probably understand maybe there was no other fighters available and they just wanted to get him up there and fill the table. But geez, you would have thought that, who else have we got there? Maybe Jacob NG. It was in Brisbane, the press conference. Do you reckon maybe Jacob NG might have driven up from the Gold Coast? I know Max Reeves is from Victoria and obviously not one of the bigger fights on the card, but it's just peculiar. If someone's out there, can someone please explain to me why you would have a press conference on the Tuesday to announce the card and the event and everything happening with it, and don't really announce anything, bar a couple of things, and then the day after you announce the entire card? I mean, we had, let's say in particular, we had, say, Liam Wilson sitting there, and as I said yesterday, as understandably looked bored because they didn't really have anything to talk about. Surely they would have known that his opponent was locked in. I mean, they announced it the day after. Why couldn't they at least announce that he was fighting Rodex, what did I say his name was? Whatever, the Filipino guy. I don't know why they couldn't announce it. You know, they Ben Damon and everyone asked Liam Wilson about the fight, and he just, as I said yesterday, had to roll out the standard lines. That's all he could do. And they had the opponent there sitting ready and waiting. I don't know. Benny Harrington, I know you watched this video and I know you watched it on your big screen. So message me and let me know why it wasn't announced the day before. So that's the card. So it's peculiar. You have all the razzmatazz and have all the media there to do the press conference. And one of the fighters you have there to talk, and in Billy Polkinghorne, doesn't even have a fight. And then the next day you announce Liam Wilson's fight. You've got him sitting there ready to answer questions about his opponent. Nothing's said, and then the day after they announce it, it's got me stumped. But having said that, the card looks okay. Okay, of course the main event, Para O'Donovan should be a cracker. Dempsey Vosuatu should be a good fight. Wilson Piala, that's his own Rodex Piala. Well, Liam's never in a bad fight, so that you'd think that will be a ripper no matter the credentials of Piala. You can be guaranteed that'll be entertaining. And Jacob NG Seti should be a really good fight as well. Was he 16-1? Jacob NG. Isaiah Seti 4-3-1. Deceptive record, that one though, because Seti is dangerous. He can fight, that young guy, so should be a good card so far. And look, end of the day, I think the top 4 fights on that card, Tszyu, Zerafa, Para O'Donovan, McKean Vosuatu, Wilson Piala, will probably be worth and NG Seti should be worth the price for admission anyway, or the pay-per-view. So all things aside, we can have a bit of a joke about it, but all things, it does look like it's going to be a ripper fight card, and no hesitation forking out the $70. I'm actually going to try and get up there hopefully for the event. The ticket prices were announced yesterday, and if you wanted sort of the corporate packages, I'll just have a quick look and see if I can bring them up here. Where are we? Not bad prices. They've got, as always, got the corporate tickets and all that there for everyone. So, no, we haven't got it there. Sorry, guys. Or have we? I'll bring up the website just quickly, see if I can do it. If not, we'll move on. All right. So, yeah, no, they're all over the place. I won't bother. But I did see the most expensive ticket at ringside, I think, might be $1,600 or $1,700. That's ringside seats, food, drinks, all the rest of it. I'll have a bit of a look at all the rest of the prices. I'm sure if you're out there, you've had a look yourself, but I don't think they seem too bad, the pricing. So, yeah, as I said, I'm not sure whether I'll get up there yet, but either way, I'll be watching on TV. Should be a ripper night of boxing, January 16th at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. All right, couple of other things on the world scene, and could the impossible, oh no, hang on, no, sorry, I've got to go back. I've got to make mention of Justice Honey. Unfortunately, his trainer has passed away, and I did mention this last week that his trainer was on an exercise bike, got off the bike and collapsed. His strength and conditioning coach had to administer CPR. He was put into a coma. The news come through yesterday that unfortunately he didn't make it. Now, his name was, and I hope I've got this right, apologies if I get it wrong, Kerry Tszyu. Again, I hope I haven't pronounced that wrong, but by all accounts, a very respected trainer. He's been part of the Opataya and Huni team for a long time as more of an assistant, but this was his first role as a full-time trainer, or the chief second of Justice Huni. Just tragic circumstances, 48 years of age, so condolences go out to his family, of course, all the boxing fraternity or community that knew him, and just tragic, 48 years of age. He's passed away, and by all accounts, from what I saw on social media yesterday, left a lasting legacy. And I'm not sure whether Justice Huni will actually fight next month. You would think it would have shaken up Jai Pataya as well. I would think that maybe a Mark Wilson will maybe step in. He was Justice's coach up until he relinquished the title to Kerry Tszyu. I'll just get past this whippersnipper here. Come here, buddy. Come on. How you doing? Good, mate. Come on, buddy. Keep moving. About to get his nose whipped off with a whippersnipper because he doesn't care. But yeah, as I said, condolences to everyone concerned with that. Just tragic news. And as I said, I'm not sure whether Huni will fight, but what are we, about 3 to 4 weeks away, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, now I did start with, could the impossible actually happen? Could we get Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua? I did say I wouldn't spend too much time on Jake Paul going forward, but if this fight does come off, it's a pretty ballsy move from Jake Paul. Very, very ballsy, and you got to give him his props. Now, there was talk the other day, Eddie Hearn said, look, he just could pop up on a card somewhere, Anthony Joshua, and in a no-name fight, in an 8-rounder or something like that. But overnight, Mike Coppinger from The Ring, who's very, very respected, got some very, very good sources. He said that the fight is very close to being made for sometime in December, which is amazing to me. Now, this is a real fight. I think I've said it before. If this is a real fight and Jake Paul steps into the ring with Anthony Joshua, he has got balls that clank, because that is a dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I wouldn't expect it to go too long. I would probably expect a Francis Ngannou situation in that fight. Just the fact that, I know size isn't everything, but you've got the size of Jake Paul, the experience of Jake Paul, and the overall boxing ability of Jake Paul, and you've got 3 strikes there when you can compare them to Anthony Joshua, who can bang, and against someone like Jake Paul, who's so inexperienced, so small, and who can't really fight. Let's face it, unless it's someone of his ilk, I suppose, then he might be in a lot of trouble. But good on him. As I said, I fully respect him. If he does happen to get in the ring, I'm sure, the 30, 40, $50 million or something, whatever he'll make out of it will comfort the fall. But is it to a point, though, do you think that if it is a real fight, that the combat board or whatever it's called over there, whether it's in England or the States, would look at that fight and say, well, if we're actually going to do our job properly, they would sit down and look at that fight and go, no, we're not going to sanction that fight. That's probably what it would be if you look at it with a common sense point of view. That fight shouldn't be sanctioned. But then again, they sanctioned Gervonta Davis. I know that's an exhibition, that's different. So that's my question. If it's an exhibition, no dramas, no issue with that. Anyone can fight anyone. But if it's a proper fight, is this an occasion where the combat board should just probably do their job and say, I think there are athletic commissions or something over there, they call them, to sit down and say, no, we can't possibly sanction that fight. Who knows? When there's lots of money involved, they did it with Tyson and Paul, so why wouldn't they do it with Joshua and Paul? We'll see. But look, the fight doesn't really mean a lot to me. I couldn't really care less, but I will be watching and I will be intrigued to see what Jake Paul can bring to the table. The word is it'll be on Netflix, as the other Jake Paul fights have been. So I'm sure it'll be a massive event. The eyeballs on the event would be huge. I'm not sure they would maybe match the Mike Tyson views, but just imagine the audience, all around the boxing world, but especially out of England, it'd just be crazy. So, hey, if they say if it makes dollars, it makes sense. This is probably one of those occasions. So we'll keep an eye out and see whether it's actually going to happen. It better be announced soon, because we're, mid-November? We haven't got much time. So I suppose if they gave it like a 4-week lead in, I suppose that's all they're going to need, aren't they? Because the hype and everything about this fight will be off the charts. So we'll keep an eye on that and see whether Jake Paul does in fact have the kahunas and the minerals to step in there with someone like an Anthony Joshua. All right, guys, I think that will do it today. I've got a couple other things there, but we'll talk about them another time, not overly urgent. But I hope you have a great Thursday. As I said, I'm not quite sure 100% whether I'll do a video tomorrow. I'm away for a couple of weeks, so I'll keep you updated with what's going on over there. But if there's no video tomorrow, that's why. So anyway, guys, have an awesome Thursday, and we'll catch you next time.